And good morning, everybody. My name is Paul K. Welcome to Saturday Mornings Outdoors on this beautiful fall day. It's late October in southern New England, and just a little bit past prime. And this week I'm out pheasant hunting in southeast Mass on public lands. I don't have dogs, so it's going to just be me and my old single-shot shotgun. So stay tuned. Let's see if we can have a little fun and get us some wild chickens. So this week, or normally what I use, I just bought a brand new semi-auto because I just to have one shotgun. I never owned one in my life, but this is all I've ever used, and I want to hunt with this the first week. This is the first week for me. This is actually the second week of pheasant season in Massachusetts, and the reason why I waited for the second season is because see how much the leaves are down, and it makes for much easier shooting. The first week they flush and you lose them in the trees in about 20 yards, so that's my logic. So 12 gauge shotgun, number 4 magnum loads, and that's a tough bird, so you need the 4s anyway. That's my logic, and let's hunt. First thing I like to do is, you can see this is big country here. So perfect brush, perfect New England upland country for hunting. So pheasant hunting, first thing I like to do when I'm in a more remote area is to use my pheasant call. And it's an old school Olt, but they make them today. And I've had this since I was a kid, but this is a locator call. The pheasant like to be like flocks of hens. They like to be amongst each other, and when they're released, they're pretty much spread out in a lone, or they've been spread out. So if you give a couple calls, they come to flock together. So you give a couple toots on that, and you can if they'll generally cackle when they hear another one. So it's worked many times, but it's a good locator call, and I didn't hear anything that time, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm in a just try it again in another area, but that's one of the techniques I use. So without a dog, basically there's a few ways, tactics, and that is I stay along. One tactic is the weed line, like I'm fishing the tree line, and in against the edges. Sometimes they'll be out in the middle, especially that little island right there, that kind of area. But there's a, I don't know if you can see it, pretty sure that's a hawk, which is a sign that there's pheasant, that's for sure. They stock this twice a week, this area. But he's patrolling for supper too. Anyway, I stay along the tree lines here, and it's just a legwork game. Take your time, keep your eyes open, and watch for any movement. They like to run. Just about when you're about to step on them, they'll flush. Well, they could flush at any time, but they like to run. So you just keep your eyes open and look for, movement. And you can come up on them and flush them if you see them. So keep your eyes open this time of year. Nature's going to help you hunt, and if you're any kind of deer hunting, milkweed is fluffing this year, so you can grab two of these pods, and I put them in a little canister, film canister, and they're wind indicators, and the best wind indicators there possibly is. There's nothing better on this earth. They have powders and everything, but milkweed, when it's at this stage, absolutely perfect. You're planting more milkweed too when you use it, but it's keep your eyes open for this stuff. That's great for deer hunting. That's some of the best stuff right there. So coming along tree lines, you want to always check the trees, especially in the morning, because they roost up in the trees to avoid predation. And you check them up there, and as I'm walking through this field, and my eyes are scanning right to left, left to right, and looking for any subtle little movements for the birds. And right this time of day, which is like mid-morning, they'd be feeding on seeds. And looking for any kind of movement as I'm walking along. And let's just see a movement. See, now in our state, legally, I don't know about legally, but sportsmanlike, any game birds, we don't ground shoot. Like, I know New Hampshire and Maine and the more north you go, the same thing. It's absolutely sportsmanlike and traditional for guys to ground shoot and tree shoot grouse. And that's how it's done up there. And I'm sure they shoot them on the flush too, but down here in Massachusetts, and I'm pretty sure the more south you go, it's the same. It's not, to us, it's not sportsmanlike. I don't think it's even legal to shoot them out of the trees. I know it's not sportsmanlike, and that's how we grew up. And everyone I know at the 2 hunting clubs that I've been a member of my whole life, that's our standard. And you'd at least get booed, if not scoffed for the rest of the week, if you ground shot them down here. So as you're moving through these fields, you're just scanning right to left, left to right. And what in the world is that? That is a blimp on the horizon? I can't tell if that's a... What the heck? You see that on the skyline next to that tree? I think it's a blimp. A full-on blimp. What? What the heck? If only the pheasants were that big. That's weird. As I get closer to that area, I'll photograph it. That's bizarre. So that's an unusual thing. I don't think it's a full-size blimp. It's pretty daggone big. It's got to be the size of a semi-tractor trailer, but what? This is the Bridgewater Triangle. This is the supernatural capital of the East Coast, I guess. And I thought it was a UFO for a second, but it's not. There's a farm over there, a big, huge farm stand, and it might just be an advertising gimmick, you know, to attract attention to the farm. That's or either that or someone's having a big party. Either that or the Germans are invading. Sorry, feeble attempt at humor. Meanwhile, back at the hunt. So remember the mantra on pheasant hunting, and it's one of the main rules, and the main rules are you can get lucky seeing pheasant cross on the trails. They're not in the trails. They're in the brush. And in the brush on either side, so you got to get up in there. You can get lucky seeing them on the trails, but you got to get in the brush. That's where they're at. So in wide expanses of these fields, just do grids. I just cover a certain area. I zigzag right, left, right, left, right, left. And you're just listening for them running, or you'll flush one right in front of you and it'll scare the hell out of you. But this is where they're at, in here. Just a spectacular day here too. The past 4 days have been cookie cutter. Absolutely beautiful, almost late summer weather here in New England. And you're out doing this upland hunting and you get to see this glorious countryside. Just spectacular. It's really beautiful. Very fortunate to have this weather. And as you're walking along, brush busting, noise doesn't matter. It's not deer hunting. You can make as much noise as you want. And you're trying to flush the bird. So, wow, check the milkweed. Tons of it. Free for the taking. That powder, I think, is probably $8 or $10 for a little bottle of it. And this stuff blows it away. There's a lifetime supply for 10 hunters right there. And zigzagging across all these woods, you're tromping through here is these boundary walls, and it's a great area for the squirrels along here. A lot of red squirrels hang out along the walls. Grouse hang along the walls here. If there's aspen, and this is a huge food source here. It's a good deer hunting area actually, but these boundary walls which crisscross everywhere, all over farmlands, are, I guess that was law when you first settled in the land. When you were tilling the fields, you had to pull up the stones to clear the fields, and it was a law to mark your boundaries so they would. Some of these walls are ancient, 1700s, you know, and they're all over New England, all over Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Massachusetts, and Connecticut. Great hunting area. It attracts game. It's cover and there's food there. like fishing structure. Wow, unreal. It's everywhere. It's been very dry, really dry. Actually, there's a wildfire warning, I think, for today. It's supposed to be windy, but it's very light wind, but it's extremely dry, and the NOAA put out a fire hazard warning in our area and all over the place. I guess it's pretty dry, but that might be why these milkweeds are popping up everywhere, letting go their seeds. I just fired that last call off right around. I was coming around this bend going to this area to hunt, and there was a pheasant right in the middle of the trail, and he just disappeared. He evaporated. Oh, my heart's pumping. Son of a gun. Probably been shot at. I don't know, but at the call, he was heading towards me up the trail, but he just disappeared. Oh, see if I can still flush him out. Wow, that was weird. So I'm pushing around in the brush in here, and what I thought looked like two quail flushed and a hawk right behind them. So maybe that's why that pheasant was so leery. It just melted away. There was a huge hawk, and looked just not huge, but it was a broad-tail hawk. As soon as those grouse quail flushed, but I don't think they stock quail here, but they were bigger upland birds. They weren't just regular sparrows or something. Very unusual. But I'm still gonna hunt. I mean, that pheasant's still in here, and that hawk was right here, so he was hunting those two. At the second the two birds busted up and headed that way, the hawk was like right behind them. He was hunting them. So unreal. Beautiful. I'm telling you guys, get one of these pheasant calls. That pheasant was coming right towards me after I called, like literally a minute and a half earlier. And they work. They really work. You'd be surprised. He didn't call back. Sometimes they call back, but that hawk was sitting up there too. So I don't know. That was really cool. Well, I saw one anyway. Someone puffed one here. See all the feathers? He cleaned one anyway. A lot of guys hunt dogs here, so obviously, but there's plenty of probably more of us guys that don't hunt dogs that hunt here too. But I'm getting close. Well, someone busted a deer, and they just left the stuff here, which is the problem. They could have pulled it off the trail a little, but there's a lot of. They didn't do a very good job of butchering. Yeesh. You want good sunfish bait right there, buddy. That'll catch a mess of sunfish, but you better have a way to store that. And that tells me, obviously, this has been here for a while, but someone got lucky during bow season, which it is right now. It wasn't me. I'm just enjoying the heck out of this day, I'll tell you that. It's just a shout out to the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife in Massachusetts. They really do a bang-up job, and they really do. Very rarely do I come down here and at least not see birds. Generally, I'm going to kill, but they do a bang-up job. Really, my hat off to them, and it gives much pleasure to us men that love it. Oh yeah, these things are always a lot of fun. You come within like 15 yards of them, and they just jump right on you. These stickers. When we were kids, we thought they were kind of fun because if you throw them at another kid, they stick on them, no problem. But they can get, literally brush against, especially with this shirt I got on, this sweatshirt. It would pick up 2,000 of them if I just brushed by it. And that's their job. Just try to be relentless. It's not that hard. I'm like literally head high in this weeds, but this is where that pheasant poked in. And they just sit and they just blend in with the ground, and you literally would not see them if you almost stepped on them, and that's when they flush. But just be relentless. Try to be anyway. They're just masters at E&E, escape and evade. They're just masters. I mean, this area, because it's stocked so heavily, there's so many birds of prey. Look at, here's one right here. He's coming in. You can see him on the skyline. See him coming in there, and they're just searching for these pheasant. And it's year after year they get to know it. And the pheasants get so good at hiding and just be disappearing. It's their life, but my shotgun pellets are faster. I'm blooming these tiny little daisy thingies. It's just a wonder equipment. I mean, how much you see here. It's just cool. I'm pretty lucky to get out here on a day like today. Just gorgeous. Normally it's starting to crisp up and cool off. It's like late summer today. Past 4 days, cookie cutter days. Mid 70s in the daytime, no clouds anywhere, and 50s at night. Unreal. Love it. It ain't gonna last though. Uh-oh, there's some trouble. I almost blundered into it. I would have had a face full. Geez, I hope you can see that. That's an eagle, I think. It's like an eagle. That's how loaded this place. Look at him. He's just doing grids. It's either a eagle or a huge hawk. Look at this. Son of a gun. He's a lot more better at it than I am. That's incredible. That's definitely, it's either a hawk or an eagle. That's crazy. He's doing grids just like I am. Huh. We'll flush him this way anyway, Mr. Expert Hunter. I hope you can see that on the horizon there, right on the horizon. He's thorough too. He's just rolling right along. Jeez. And and I watched the hawks, smaller hawks in that hunting in this fashion, and they stay low like that. Look, he's landing. He just kind of landed. No, he took off again. They stay as low as they can so that lessen the area, the distances. They just drop right down on them because obviously the birds are going to either flush or run. And I think if the pheasant runs in this heavy stuff, the bird from above will get hung up in the weeds and he wouldn't be able to get them. So they like to lessen the distance and just stay low. And I've seen hawks doing that for rabbits over open fields. They do grids and for rabbits and mice, and they just drop right down on them 3 feet, and it's instant. It's just instant. So, man, we gotta learn from them. But I ain't got wings. I do have my shotgun pellets though. Who doesn't freaking love this hunting world? Another puff spot. Someone puffed one here. Son of a gun, I'm getting jealous. I'll keep at it though. Determination. Jeez, this must be the sweet spot. Right in the middle of the trail. Someone shot one. A ground trail. That's an easy shot. That's, you come around these bends there. There's a feather. You come around these bends and you pop them. This is an owl pellet. This is, the owl eats the mice whole and regurgitates this. It's got bones and feathers in there. And it's an owl pellet. That's what they do. They'll eat the mice whole and regurgitate that up with the bones and the feathers, and the body sucks the juices out of it, I guess. But it's kind of rare to find those. I'm surprised. It's right here in the middle of this trail too. Interesting. Sometimes you find little mouse skulls in them and bones, you know. So I did a hard 3-hour hunt. Well, not hard, it was extremely enjoyable. A beautiful day. There's that bird of prey again. That eagle, I think he is, just flew by. There's so many predators here. On the way back out along the trail, and it's not even sunset or anything. I didn't even know they did this in the daytime, but I heard a low, long yodie howl. Really mournful, and it was so cool, like the spirit of the hunt. So with that, I'm going to take a break here. It's really sweating like anything. It's pretty warm right now. And I didn't get to get a wild chicken, but I had a glorious first day of pheasant hunting for me. And this is just the beginning. There'll be a lot more hunting this hunting season, of course. And thanks for showing up, guys and girls. My name is Paul K. Please like and subscribe. It's very important for the channel. And thanks so much for coming along. If you can't get out here, come on right along with me. I'll take it with me every single week. And we'll see you next week, guys. Thanks. Ironically, as I pull out, a truck parked right next to me with the name Trail Boss right on it. Pretty cool. So I just got a license check from the fine people at Division of Fisheries and Wildlife. Thank you so much for stocking. It's a wonderful thing that you do for our sportsmen. Thank you. Best of luck to you. Oh, it's been about 10 or 11 years or so. She's still back of me there. There's another kid. He's out here hunting. She's just checking licenses. But man, I love those people, and I thanked her. Those guys do a splendid job, and a lot of recreation, and it's a lot of work to stock those things. And she's telling me about the frequencies, which I'm going to keep a secret. That's a trail boss secret I ain't letting out over the year. That's for sure. When they stock these certain areas, and if you get in contact with them, you can get that kind of information too. But that's like, it's just, you got to find the info on yourself. So thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you next week. See ya. Bye. You always get these little surprises when you get home, you know. You feel this pulling, and they jump on you from 10 feet away.